Your car battery is dying 3 times faster than it should, and battery companies have figured out how to make this happen on purpose. They want you replacing your battery every 3 years instead of 12. And the crazy part is, there's a $0 trick that can add 9 years to your battery's life that they absolutely do not want you to know about. Hey everyone, I've been working on cars for over 15 years, and I've tested every battery trick out there. Some are garbage, but the 7 I'm about to show you actually work, and I've personally saved over $2,000 using them. And trick number 1 at the end is going to completely change how you think about batteries, because one car brand accidentally proved that everything we've been told about what kills batteries is wrong. If you're new here, hit subscribe, because by the end of this video, you're going to know more about car batteries than most mechanics do. Now, the trick that can literally bring a dead battery back to life and restore 40% of its capacity, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I've done it myself multiple times and it works. I'm also going to show you where you're overpaying by 60% for the exact same battery. But we're going to build up to all of that, because if you skip the basics, none of these tricks are going to help you. Trick number 7. Most people think as long as they drive regularly, the battery is fine. But your battery is slowly losing charge and developing problems between every start, and you'd never know it. Now, if you store a boat, an RV, a classic car, or a motorcycle, this is way more extreme because your battery loses 50% of its charge in just 2 weeks of sitting there. After 4 to 6 weeks, permanent damage kicks in. Crystals form on the plates and harden to the point where you can't reverse it, and the battery is hurt for life. What you need is a battery maintainer, and this is not the same thing as a trickle charger. A maintainer cycles on and off automatically, so it keeps your battery charged without ever overcharging it. It also sends small pulses that keep the acid properly mixed. A trickle charger just dumps constant power. Leave it connected long enough and it overcharges and kills the battery. I've seen people hook up trickle chargers, leave them all winter, and come back in the spring to find the battery completely toast because it boiled off all the water inside. A good maintainer runs about 50 to 80 bucks, and your battery costs around 150, so that's a pretty easy call. Temperature matters a lot, too. A fully charged battery is safe down to -92 degrees, but a discharged one can freeze at just 32. So if you're storing it in an unheated garage during winter, and it's not fully charged, it can freeze solid and crack the case. And here's a myth. You've probably heard that batteries on concrete floors lose their charge. That's a myth for modern batteries with plastic cases. What actually kills stored batteries is sitting idle and partially charged without a maintainer. One more thing nobody mentions. When you buy a new battery, there's a break-in period. It only has about 70% of its rated capacity right out of the box and needs about 5 gentle cycles before it delivers full power. Avoid deep discharges and heavy loads until it's been cycled a few times. But storing batteries properly is one thing. Maintaining the physical connections is where most people completely fail, and trick number 6 shows you exactly what's destroying your battery right now without you knowing it. Trick number 6. You've seen that crusty white stuff on your battery terminals, right? That's not dirt. It's a chemical reaction. As your battery ages, it releases acidic vapors that react with the metal terminals and create that corrosion. There's also galvanic corrosion that happens when 2 different metals touch each other, like a lead post and a copper clamp. Add moisture or acid vapor and it creates a small electrical current that accelerates the corrosion like crazy. Here's why this matters. That corrosion creates resistance. Your alternator puts out 14 volts, but with corrosion on the terminals, only about 13 volts actually reaches the battery. You're undercharging every day without knowing it, and that causes acid separation. You'll see in trick 3 just how destructive that actually is. How do you stop it? Clean your terminals with a wire brush and baking soda water, rinse completely, and dry. Apply a thin layer of dielectric grease or petroleum jelly to the post before reconnecting. Clamp tight, then coat the outside too. This seals out moisture and vapors, and you won't see corrosion for months or even years. For old-style batteries where you can pop the caps off, check water level but always add water after charging, not before. Water level rises during charging, so adding it before can overflow and push out acid, weakening your mixture. Only use distilled water because tap water has minerals that mess up the chemistry. Never add acid either. The only time acid goes in is when the battery is first made, and don't let water drop so low the plates get exposed to air because they'll be permanently damaged. Now, clean terminals definitely help, but if you think corrosion is the worst thing happening to your battery, wait until you hear what your car's own computer is doing to it on purpose. Trick number 5. Your alternator might be slowly killing your battery, and you'd never know it. Start your car, let it idle, and measure voltage at the battery terminals. You should see 13.8 to 14.7 volts. Below 13.8 means your charging system isn't putting out enough and the battery is being chronically undercharged. Above 14.7 means it's overcharging, which boils off water and damages the battery. Modern cars have smart charging systems that regulate the alternator to lower voltages to save fuel. That's great for gas mileage, but terrible for your battery. Your alternator might only hit 13.8 when the battery needs 14.4 to fully charge. So you're undercharging every single day without realizing it. And here's what makes it worse. When your battery develops acid separation, its ability to absorb a charge drops 50 to 70%. Even with the alternator running, the battery can't soak up energy efficiently. The alternator works way harder. Wear increases. Fuel efficiency drops. Eventually, the alternator fails too. Failing battery causing a failing alternator. Double whammy. Test your alternator voltage once a year. Takes 2 minutes and it can save you from replacing both the battery and the alternator. But even with a perfect alternator, your battery might still be lying straight to your face. I mean actually lying. The numbers look perfect and then your car won't start. Trick number 4 shows you how to catch it. Trick number 4. You check your battery with a multimeter and it shows 12.6 volts. Looks perfect. You turn the key and all you hear is click, click, click. Nothing happens. But it showed 12.6 volts 2 seconds ago. So what's going on? Voltage only tells you how charged the battery is, like a fuel gauge. It doesn't tell you if it can deliver power when you need it. A battery can be completely full and still be broken inside. Voltage looks great right up until you try to use it, and then it just collapses. Think of it like a water tower. The tank is 100% full, but the pipe at the bottom is tiny. You turn on the faucet and barely anything comes out. The tank is full, but it can't deliver. That's exactly what's happening with your battery. The real test is a load test. You put about 100 amps on the battery and measure voltage under that stress. If it stays above 9.6 volts, the battery is good. Below 9.6 means it's failing, and you've got internal damage that voltage alone would never reveal. Every auto parts store does this for free. AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Advance Auto. Takes 5 minutes, so there's no excuse not to use it. For old-style batteries, you can buy a hydrometer for about 10 bucks. It measures acid density in each cell. Healthy batteries should read within 0.015 across all cells. But if one reads 1.265 and another 1.165, that spread of 0.10 means acid separation. Massive power loss, even though voltage looks fine. A hydrometer catches this instantly while a multimeter never will. There's also capacity testing, which measures if the battery delivers its rated power. If it's supposed to be 80 amp hours but only gives 64, that's 80% capacity, and technically a failure, even though voltage looks perfect. Now here's a scenario that drives people insane. Battery dead in the morning. Jump it, drive to work, everything's fine. Park 8 hours, and it's dead again. So you buy a brand new battery. Next morning, the new battery is dead too. What in the world is going on? Hold on, because I'm about to show you exactly how to find it. This is called a parasitic drain. Something is pulling power when everything should be off. Normal drain is 20 to 50 milliamps, which the battery handles fine. But if something's pulling 100 milliamps or more, that'll kill your battery overnight. Most common causes are aftermarket stuff. Remote starters, aftermarket alarms, aftermarket stereos with sloppy wiring. Or it can be something simple like an interior light that won't turn off, a trunk light, a glove box light, or a faulty door switch. Here's how to find it. Battery fully charged, disconnect the negative terminal, put your multimeter between the terminal and cable set to measure amps. Close all doors, turn off everything, and wait 10 minutes for the computers to go to sleep. Reading 20 to 50 milliamps means you're fine. Over 100 means there's a problem. Start pulling fuses one by one, and when the reading drops, you've found the circuit causing the drain. And real quick, if you're finding this useful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button because it actually helps get this video in front of other car owners who need to hear this stuff. Alright, so now you know how to test batteries and track down drains. But here's what I've been building up to this entire video. The $0 resurrection. This is trick number 3. And honestly, it's the reason I made this video in the first place. Trick number 3. This costs $0 and can literally resurrect a dead battery. Inside your battery, there's acid and water mixed together. The acid is almost twice as heavy as water, so gravity pulls it down. If it isn't mixed regularly, all the acid sinks to the bottom while water rises to the top. Now you've got super concentrated acid eating the plates at the bottom and mostly water at the top where the plates are starving. This is exactly why you lose 40% of your power. The top half of the plates can't work because there's no acid up there. The bottom half is being destroyed by too much acid. Only the middle is actually doing its job. And here's what makes it worse. The watery stuff at the top conducts electricity better, so when you charge it, all the current rushes to the top and creates a hot spot. That hot spot corrodes the plates and specifically kills your cranking power. The battery shows decent voltage but can't deliver the cranking amps you need. Hold on, because this gets even worse. The battery's ability to absorb a charge drops 50 to 70% within 6 months. It can't absorb energy from the alternator even when running. That creates a cascade where poor charging leads to more separation, worse charge acceptance, and even harder charging. And voltage still shows 12.6 through all of this. Concentrated acid at the bottom makes voltage look higher than reality. Your battery could be half dead, and the meter says it's fine. I know that sounds bad, but stay with me because the fix is surprisingly straightforward. The main cause is never fully charging, and this is exactly where tricks 6 and 5 come back. The corrosion reducing your voltage, the smart charging systems lowering it even more, all of that feeds into this. Most people drive short trips where the alternator charges it back a little, but never reaches full charge. It never hits the bubbling phase where those bubbles mix the acid and water back together. Modern cars make it worse because smart charging systems regulate the alternator to lower voltages to save fuel. Your alternator might only put out 13.8 when it needs 14.4 to fully charge. You're chronically undercharging without knowing it. And there's actually a memory-like effect nobody talks about. If you use the battery in repeated shallow cycles, like short trips where you only use 15% and never fully recharge, it can lose 10% capacity in 1 month and 20 to 30% over a few months. It shows false full voltage the whole time. The only way to reverse it is a deep discharge to 30 to 40% followed by a full special charge, which is why what I'm about to show you is so critical. Alright, so now you understand exactly what's going wrong inside the battery. Here's the step-by-step process to fix it, and pay close attention because the order really matters. You need a smart charger with equalization mode that can push 15 to 15.5 volts. Regular chargers only go to 14.4, which isn't enough. For an 80 amp hour battery charge at 2.4 to 4 amps max, about 3 to 5% of capacity. And here's the secret. It works way better if you drain the battery first, get it down to 30 to 40% by turning on headlights for a while, then run the equalization. If you try it on a battery that's barely drained, it doesn't work nearly as well. Draining first makes it 3 to 5 times more effective. Here's the process. First, drain to 30 to 40%. Second, set your charger to equalization at 15 to 15.5 volts with the current at 3 to 5%. Third, start the charge. The battery will bubble a lot, and that's completely normal because those bubbles are mixing everything back together. Fourth, check acid density every hour with your hydrometer and wait for all cells to hit 1.265 and be within 0.005 of each other. It takes 12 to 24 hours, so don't rush it. Keep checking hourly, and when the numbers stop changing and everything is within 0.005, you're done. Watch the temperature though. If the battery gets too hot to touch, reduce the current or stop and let it cool. Safety is absolutely critical before you try this. The battery produces hydrogen gas during equalization, and a lot of it. Hydrogen is explosive at just 4% in air, and one spark means a violent explosion with acid and shrapnel everywhere. Do this outside or in a garage with every door and window open, never in an enclosed space. Wear gloves, safety glasses, and a face shield. And this is critical. Never disconnect cables while the charger is on, because that spark can ignite hydrogen. Always turn the charger off first, then disconnect. That order matters. When should you not bother trying? If after equalization, any cell still reads below 1.200 on the hydrometer, the plates are too damaged. If the spread between cells stays above 0.030 even after equalization, something is mechanically wrong. If voltage drops below 11.8 after sitting 4 hours, you've got a shorted cell. In any of those cases, just replace it. And keep expectations realistic. Even if you revive a battery that was deeply discharged from 4.2 volts, it might only last 6 months to a year. Equalization reverses acid separation but can't undo physical plate damage. Now, before we move on, let me clear up 3 terms that people mix up all the time, because confusing them can actually cost you a battery. Surface charge is when the charge level is temporarily elevated on the plate surfaces. It's totally normal and temporary. After charging, just turn on headlights for a few minutes and it goes away. No permanent damage, just a temporarily false reading. Sulfation is different. Lead sulfate crystals form on the plates and harden when a battery sits discharged for too long. Once they harden, they don't convert back, and that active material is lost permanently. Acid separation is the physical separation of acid and water, and it's reversible with equalization. But here's the connection. A battery with acid separation accelerates sulfation because the separation creates the conditions for those crystals to form. So they're distinct problems, but definitely related. Now that resurrection trick is powerful, but it only works if you bought the right battery in the first place. And trick number 2 is something that genuinely makes me angry every time I think about it. Trick number 2. I used to buy every battery at AutoZone just like most people until I figured out what I'm about to tell you. You walk in, you need a battery. They charge you $200, maybe $250. You pay it because you need one right now. Here's what makes me mad. That exact same battery, same brand, same interstate battery costs about $120 at Costco. That's roughly 60% cheaper. I know what you're thinking. Warranty must be worse. Actually, the opposite. AutoZone loves their 5-year warranties, but read the fine print. They're pro-rated. By year 4 or 5, when your battery dies, you're getting maybe $20 back. Some warranties literally expire right around when the battery is most likely to fail. Costco and Sam's Club have solid non-pro-rated warranties. Sam's Club gives you 3 straight years, where if it fails, you get a full replacement. No games. Walmart is another good option, because they'll find your receipt and refund you without hassle. Try getting that at AutoZone. No Costco membership, the membership is $60, and you save $80 on the battery, so you're $20 ahead on day 1. And here's something most people mess up. If your car shuts off at red lights, those start-stop cars, you need a special battery. They have 25% more lead inside to handle all those extra starts. Put a regular battery in a start-stop car and it'll be dead within a year. Don't cheap out here. Which type should you buy? In brutal heat, AGM batteries last 5 to 6 years versus 3 to 4 for standard, and trick 1 is going to show you exactly why heat matters so much. That's 2 extra years for $50 to $70 more. Absolutely worth it if you keep your car long-term. And AGM batteries don't get acid separation at all because the acid is soaked into a mat so it can't sink. There's also a new technology called MixTech by Discover Battery that stops acid separation in regular batteries and doubles their life. If you're buying a new battery, look for MixTech. But even the best battery from the best store won't last if you don't understand what's actually killing it. And this is what I teased at the very beginning of this video. One car brand accidentally proved that everything we've been told about what kills batteries is wrong. Trick number 1. If you live anywhere hot, Arizona, Florida, Texas, Nevada, anywhere hitting 100 degrees, listen up. Here's what nobody tells you. Cold doesn't kill your battery. Heat does. Yeah, batteries struggle in cold, but that's temporary. Cold slows the chemical reaction so you get less cranking power. Warm it back up and it's fine. No permanent damage. Heat causes permanent damage. It speeds up reactions until they're destructive. Water evaporates, plates corrode faster, and the battery consumes itself. A battery lasting 5 years in Seattle dies in 3 in Phoenix. Same battery, different temperature, heat killed it. And check this out. The first major heat wave of the year is peak battery failure time. Batteries slowly weakening all year finally break during extreme heat. Then the first cold snap of winter kills even more because cold reduces cranking power. A battery weakened by summer barely has enough juice in warm weather. And when the temperature drops, it's not enough anymore. People think cold killed it, but heat did the real damage months ago. Cold just revealed it. Now hold on, because this is where it gets really interesting. Most batteries sit under the hood, which is honestly the worst spot possible. You turn off your car and the engine is sitting at 180 degrees, cooking your battery for hours. The hood traps all that heat. This is called engine bay afterburn, and it's destroying your battery while you're eating dinner. And here's where that car brand comes in. Old Saturn cars had batteries in the trunk instead of under the hood. Those batteries lasted 3 to 4 years in hot weather. Same battery under the hood, 2 to 3 years. A full extra year just from being away from engine heat. The trunk only deals with outside air, while under the hood it's engine heat plus outside heat. Saturn accidentally proved that where you put the battery matters more than what battery you buy. So what can you do? Park in shade whenever possible because even partial shade helps. After a long drive, pop your hood and prop it open for 15 minutes. The trapped heat escapes immediately, and this can add months to your battery's life. Battery insulation kits cost $20 to $50. Wrap around your battery and reflect heat away. They can add 6 months to a year of life, and every degree cooler means less damage. Quick note for EV owners. Your EV has a 12-volt battery, just like regular cars, that powers all the electronics. It's just as vulnerable to heat. Some EV owners report more 12-volt battery problems than main battery problems. Everything I'm telling you applies to your EV's 12-volt battery too. Now, let me tell you exactly what I personally do to make sure I never get stranded by a dead battery. Every month, especially if you do short trips, hook your battery up to a smart charger for 14 to 16 hours through all the phases. This keeps the acid mixed and prevents all that separation we talked about. Check your water level if you don't have an AGM battery, but do it after charging, not before. Distilled water only. And check your terminals for corrosion, cleaning, and recoating if needed. Every 3 months, run an equalization charge on regular batteries at 15 to 15.5 volts until all cells read within 0.005 of each other. This stops separation from building up. Once a year, get a load test at the parts store because it's free. Check battery age, hot climate, replace it 3 to 5 years no matter how good it seems. Moderate climate, 5 to 7 years max. If you're putting a vehicle into storage, keep a maintainer connected the entire time. Charge fully before storing so it stays above 12.4 volts. So here's the formula for 12 plus years. A GM from Costco in a moderate or cool climate. If you're in Phoenix, accept that 5 to 6 years is a great result. Monthly full charges, maintainer for any storage over a week, quarterly equalization on regular batteries, and avoid discharging below 50%. Know the warning signs. Slow cranking in cold, voltage below 12.4 after sitting overnight, corrosion that keeps coming back, or age over 5 years in heat or 7 in moderate. See any of those? Replace proactively before it leaves you stranded. Following this approach could save you around $1,000 over 10 years. That's the difference between buying from Costco and doing maintenance versus replacing AutoZone batteries every 3 years. And that doesn't count towing, missed work, or the stress of being stranded. Remember at the beginning of this video, I said battery companies want you replacing every 3 years? Now you know exactly how to beat them at their own game. Most people never learn this. They keep buying overpriced batteries every 3 years, keep getting stranded, and keep throwing away batteries that could have been saved. But you're different now because you actually understand what's going on inside that battery. So start simple. Get a load test this month. It's free and takes 5 minutes. Next month, do a full charge with a smart charger. Build from there. If this helped, hit subscribe. Give this a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which trick surprised you most. And if you know someone who just dropped $200 at AutoZone, share this with them. They need to see it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.